The very first morning that I came to the certification training, my boyfriend of 3 years, who had been sort of living with me, drove like that morning. I watched him drive away in his truck with all his stuff in his truck. It was goodbye. And I came in to the tapping training and I was like, I could have been scraped off the floor. And you, after the morning session, you kind of did a little private session with me and you're like, okay, let's see if we can just stitch you back up, just kind of at least put you back together. And we did some tapping and I came in, I was devastated with grief. And afterward, it was like, oh yeah, this is sad, but hey, life goes on. Like it had gone from like a 25 on a scale of 1 to 10 to like maybe a 3 or 4, and again, that was like 10 minutes, so yeah.
What changes have I noticed in my life since practicing EFT? Everything. Would be really hard to describe what has not changed.
It was a very impulsive decision for me because I had a career as a filmmaker and a producer that I still love. I think deeply, some part of me has always wanted to be super helpful and solve problems. And I think that EFT is a really, really practical way to help others. And my favorite thing about it is that I get to uplift people and make them feel better about themselves.
Yeah, so the biggest gift that EFT has given me is this community of other practitioners that I can learn from, grow from, practice with, have a support group to help me build my business, and to really feel like it's good and safe to go ahead and put myself out there because I have this full support system. So I would say, besides the gift of obviously the technique of being able to help heal myself, it's having the gift of that supportive community.
I decided to do level 1 and 2. I did it for myself at the beginning. And I think after level 1, I was like, I want to share it. I need to share it. I started to share it with my flatmate, with my friend, with the people I had around. I use it on my cat. It works incredible on animals.
The most surprising thing for me was how effective it was in how fast it was. Doing the workshops, we did our little 10 or 15-minute practice sessions on each other. And some of the breakthroughs I had during those little sessions was just shocking. So that's, yeah.
In my day job, I often not so much anymore, but I attend like 2-day workshops, and it's a lot of information and it seems hopeful and it's exciting and it's almost it is overwhelming. So I tend to put the information aside, and then I sometimes get back to it and sometimes don't. And with your workshops, there's such great ongoing support. Well, first of all, just various strategies that dealing with certain issues, dealing with how to close out a session, dealing with narcissistic abuse, dealing with various things. I didn't expect that a lot of detail about various issues that we might come across. It was really helpful. And then just the ongoing support, the free tapping sessions with you, the availability of you, I don't know if you're still the ability to retake courses at a discounted rate. That's been huge. It's helpful to be refreshed, and new ideas come about every time, and it's just staying not exactly immersed, but staying in touch with it has been like no other workshops I've ever attended.
It made the concept of working through trauma and trauma capsules a lot more tangible for me. But it also really helped me learn how subconscious programming works. I wasn't necessarily thinking that we would get into something that was that in depth, but that was really awesome. That was something that I guess was surprising. I learned a lot more than I thought that I would, I guess, as far as how the constructs of the subconscious mind and where the beliefs all begin. And it just opened kind of like a new world for like everything else that can be used with this modality. I didn't know how incredibly complex it was.
But the general feeling that I would have is the feeling that, you know, there was some issue that was really, really bothering me, weighing heavily on my psyche. And then I would do some tapping with you, or like sometimes we went off into little dyads and we practiced tapping with each other. And the result would be like, wait a minute, where did it go? Has anybody seen my trauma? Like, where did it go? And you know, the feeling of I can't find it. Like, and that feeling of my brain has literally been rearranged. Yeah. And the surprise of how quickly that could happen. Like, wait a second, we were just tapping for 10 minutes and suddenly this whole thing is gone.
In France, how EFT is used is still pretty, how can I say? I would like to say something like narrow, and which I love with your trainings is that it's so wide. It's about quantum, it's about being infinite, it's about energy, it's about our own capacity to heal. And I really enjoy the expansion that I experienced in your trainings.
The gift that it's given me is the ability to bring people back from the brink. That hit to the heart is just so amazing. That's something you can't buy. So yeah, that is the true gift.
To be completely honest, primarily to learn to get really good at EFT so that I could overcome my own issues. That was my thinking, that if I learn it really well, then I'll be able to really apply it on myself. That has really paid off. So has it been worth it? Absolutely.
So I was a client in EFT, I'd say for over a year, and I was going through what I call the dark night. And I was, oh my God, just talking about it. It was a moment in my life where I had absolutely no ground, where everything in my life that I knew was in deconstruction. And I had gone to therapy, I had gone to somatic work, I had gone to many different modalities. I think it was the first time I was like, this is home. This is my home. And it felt so good, and I felt so safe to unpack what I could see and what I could not see.
Oh my gosh. What changes have I noticed? Well, for me, EFT has been the most life-changing, profound tool. I could just wax poetic about EFT. Well, it's improved my my sense of calm and peace. I've become, I think, far more resilient at handling challenges. It's improved all of my relationships, every single one of them, which is amazing. Yeah. Oh gosh, it just feels like I'm empowered because I use it on everything and anything, whether it's symptoms or, you know, discomfort or pain, or I just feel like I always have this handy tool in my pocket. And that's how I like to talk about EFT. So yeah.
Really understanding and helping someone guide you to find out where those came from really can enable you to then be free. And that's why I love why it's called emotional freedom techniques, because it really is. I think the only way to really be free is to really get into those emotions and really honor them. That's not something that I ever found personally in the medical community. Showing up week after week after week to therapy was nice. You know, it was good to have support and have someone to talk to. But I was just talking about it over and over and over again, and the feelings and the habits and the inner self dialogue didn't change, because I wasn't getting to the core of what I needed to get to. And this has given me that. So go ahead and do yourself the favor of giving yourself that freedom.
This was a workshop of yours quite some time ago, and I don't know that I want to discuss a lot of details about the case, but you did a demonstration with the tell a story technique, and It was amazing. It was just so many traumas for this woman, hugely traumatic situation in the snow, and a lot of things happened, and it helped her a lot. And it was during the process, I was just going, "Oh my goodness, this is tremendous. This is horrendous. This is horrible." And it was really helpful for her, and that was very moving for me.
There were a lot of things that happened in my daily life that would send I wouldn't call it anxiety, anger levels would just right up off the charts real fast. And that has gone away. Just doing this personal work and through the workshops, realizing how much I've evened out on a emotional level. I don't have those massive hills and massive valleys. It's more of a rolling hills.
The most valuable thing I got from the workshops was these friendships with swap partners that I meet with every week, and we, help each other get over our stuff. You know, that the workshops provide so much more than just big bursts of knowledge over a weekend, but rather the fact that you become empowered to practice EFT at a highly competent level. Let's call it something like 80% as good as a professional. You get to do this on other people, which is where the real learning happens, where you become really good, not from attending workshops and taking copious notes, but from practicing a lot with these people. And you get to have these people who are also highly competent work on you for free to help you get over your stuff. So it's practically what I have been gifted from that is a support structure of pretty much highly effective free therapy that also helps, is the critical ingredient to me becoming the practitioner I need to be.
I guess I have to go back to the community part of it. I wasn't expecting that at all. I wasn't expecting to find like a swap partner so easily and so quickly. That has been super consistent. Two of them actually. I wasn't expecting to get like the level of support outside of the classroom that we've all gotten. I love the calls that we do a couple times a month. Those are so they just feel really good to check in. That was surprising. I wasn't expecting that level of like support. Yeah.
Actually, I was quite surprised about how quickly a community of sorts developed around the other students. You're in this workshop with them for 2 weekends, and all of a sudden you've got people that you can reach out to when you have an emotional issue you want to deal with. Most of them have been more than happy to get back to you, or I'm busy right now. Can we schedule something a little later? So yeah, it was actually quite deep and quite fast.
Oh, it's been so much more than worth it. Absolutely. Why I pursued it, at that time, I was working as a chef. I was a culinary arts instructor. And I really, really loved my work. I loved that work. And at the same time, I just felt like I needed to go deeper in my teaching. And I had been working with this tapping practitioner and having amazing results. So okay, put the chef piece together with the tapping piece. Oh, I'll help people figure out what to eat. I'll use tapping to help people, kind of improve their diets and, eat better. Oh my gosh. And then, of course I started and I'd have like a 60-minute session with someone. And we would talk about food for like the first 5 minutes. And the whole rest of the time would be like, well, when I was 4 years old, my father told me I'd never be good enough.
I think the biggest gift that EFT has given me is a sense of agency and power over my circumstances or my situation, and a way to experience more peace and calm regardless of what's happening. I mean, the past year in my life has been super challenging. Our whole neighborhood burned down, and I really don't know how I would have navigated that without EFT. And so not only having the tool that I could use on a daily basis for all the challenging moments that came up, in addition to being supported by colleagues, was really amazing and helpful. And, at the end of the day, I can't control what's going on in life, but I can control my reaction to it. So I think that's been the most empowering and wonderful gift.
So EFT really supported me to come back to my body, to channel my emotions, to learn to make the difference between the emotion I could act on and listen to, and to be able to also use my emotion as a guidance, and to be able to set clear and clean boundaries.
So gives you the tools to deal with anything that comes your way, really. And also, again, just having that support that you can always have a consultation. We have a list of people to swap with. There is just even personal work support that's available. That's also really crucial there. So absolutely worth it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And I haven't even really gotten my business totally off the ground yet, and I'm already so glad that I did it. So
I have had a needle phobia my whole life, and my brother was a diabetic, and he was about 8 years older than me. So I think when I was a little kid, he would get a shot, and I'd say, "Hey, why don't I get a shot?" So my parents would take the needle off and pretend to give me a shot, which was all well and good until I vaguely remember my first shot, and I was like, "Okay, sure, sure," and then and I was in tears, and it was not good. But so ever since then, before EFT, I would soak up the doctor's paper thing. I would turn pale. I never passed out, but they were afraid I would. If they ever said, "Oh, it's whatever, it's dripping and your vein is rolling," I'd have to lay down. But I just tapped about this anxiety about needles, and it was gone. And that first time, it's been many years ago, I decided not to do it again until the next blood test, which was 6 months later. And I decided I'm just going to see if it still lasted, and it did. It helped. I mean, yeah, I didn't have that reaction.
Guess what I'm most excited about in just practicing EFT as a professional is the ability to help people who are having real emotional issues. I've had clients who just literally tears streaming down their face and just so anxious they could barely speak. And getting them to a place within an hour of being calm and cool and collected and smiling. There's no better feeling than that in the world.
So what I'm most excited to be an EFT practitioner is for me to help people and my client to go into those spaces that they cannot reach alone. And what I really, really love about EFT is that it helps the body to go where it can go. It's very, very respectful of the limits of the body, of the nervous system of the person. So making sure that the person always feels safe, though going through the work, that for me is, I think it blows my mind each time. Yeah.
Unconditional self-love. Absolutely. And it's not to say that I didn't have that or didn't have inklings of that. So when I came into tapping, I had been a student of Buddhism, well, since 1987. So however many years that was, whatever, 40 minus 27 years, let's say, 25 years, I don't know. And, in Buddhist teachings, there's a lot of talk about being kind to oneself. But, if you think about it, being kind to oneself, that language is a little bit abstract. It's kind of easy to bypass it. But in tapping, we say, I deeply love myself. I accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. And, of course, we play with the phrasing of that however we need to, but that's the principle. And the first time I had to say that when I was tapping, I got nauseated, like I was going to throw up. Yeah, exactly. And I was so surprised, like, wow, I've been studying Buddhism all these years, and it's about being, I've learned about being kind to myself, but no, there was a whole frontier that I had not opened up, you know? And, you know, the thing about tapping, I mean, for us as practitioners, you know, like you sit there and you say it like thousands of times with somebody else, right? I love and accept myself. Well, after a while, it starts to sink in. You know, after a while, you can say, like now, I can say it like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. But that wasn't true 13 years ago. And that is due exclusively to tapping.
So it's a nice kind of maintenance to be exchanging sessions, learning from people, and just getting basically a free session. I mean, we donate our time, but it's great stuff. And what a, again, compared to workshops where you take it for a weekend and then it's up to me to follow up all the time. This works a lot better. So yeah, the freedom to help people more and to keep learning and growing myself.
I would say I'm really, really grateful for like all those unexpected gifts. And I also really love that you threw in the how to build a thriving business course. And I love that you also are like actively, like doing TikTok, YouTube, and that you can offer your experience with all that stuff to all of us as well. So, yeah, that's been really good too, because it's not only just having the confidence to work with the client and to know how to navigate those, but also there's a whole other marketing, your online portion of it that it can be really daunting if you're trying to figure that out alone. So that has been just the business end of it, portion of it has also been really, really unexpected. I really didn't think that I was going to have people like monthly that were going to like help me with that. And right now we created a little 3-person study group where we're going through each video and talking about it and whatnot. And so, yeah, very grateful for all of that. Wasn't expecting help on the business end so much, and it's been a lot. So thank you for that and for the conduit for all of that you provide through this. So yeah.
Literally surprising how well it was laid out in a way that made it really easy to understand. The speed was just the right tempo for me, and the ability to retain the information plus the practice built into it.
So what I really appreciated about going through that Tapping the Matrix Academy training, I loved the intimacy of the group. It was informal, but there was structure to it. And what I felt, Rob, was that you were very well prepared as a teacher. I felt very held and I felt very guided. And the structure of it in terms of doing the practice sessions and, you know, the ethics part of it, I still reference all that. I still have my PDF files down here in my file cabinet. And I will take them out periodically, even now, like, you know, 13 years later. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. What exactly is the personal peace procedure? And what exactly, you know, what does it mean to tell the story? You know, so it's extremely helpful. And the training has really stayed with me through all these years.